Kia ora tātou. The House is resumed. We are debating the Parole Amendment Bill. Kelvin Davis has 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining should he decide to take advantage of that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will take advantage of that. Mr. Speaker, so we're debating the Parole Amendment Bill, and we've heard some really interesting arguments here. Most of the House support this bill, the Greens haven't, and I listened to David Clenden's arguments and I understand them. What was really interesting to hear was the point made by the National member that there's 5,000 parole hearings heard a year. This is going to reduce that number by some 800 parole hearings a year, saving some $700,000 in the process, and it would be great to see that $700,000 used actually to allay the issues that the Green member David Clenden raised around the number of inmates that will be so motivated by this bill that they'll want to have their parole hearings moved, they'll want to meet the conditions, they'll want to have the parole hearings moved forward, and so they can get release. David Clenden's concern, though, was that there wouldn't be the resourcing available to support that process to happen, but because we hear that $700,000 is going to be saved, it would be great to see that money used for that purpose. And again, just to go over things, the bill amends the Parole Act 2002, and it increases the maximum time between parole hearings from 12 months to 24 months to 2 years. It does this simply because there are some prisoners who are not going to get paroled, but they still have to go through this annual process, and our concern, or one of our concerns, is for the victims who every year upon as the parole hearing for the perpetrator of the crime against them, as that parole hearing comes forward, it's going to unnecessarily raise their anxiety, their angst, their stress, when we know that quite possibly that person will not be granted parole. And it seems to be a waste of time, a waste of resource, a waste of emotional energy from the victims. And why is this? Possibly because there's some prisoners who have taken absolutely no steps to acknowledge their crimes, to rehabilitate, there's still a risk of them reoffending, therefore they're really not going to get parole as they should. So, as we say, if this is obviously the case, then there seems to be little point in holding a parole hearing and going through the motions simply for the sake of going through the motions. It seems a much better idea to meet with offenders that have addressed their offending and have a chance of actually being released. As I've said, the hearings or the impending hearings, and when the hearings do happen, cause undue stress on the victims, even though, as we've heard again from the Green member, only 7% of victims actually put forward a written submission to the parole board. Only 3% actually attend the parole board hearings. There's no burden on them to front up to the offenders. However, just the whole process, as I've said, creates stress and anxiety for the victims, and often that is unnecessary. So the length of time between parole hearings has been extended to 2 years. And as I said, the bill includes a process to motivate a prisoner to address their offending, address the reasons for their offending by including a process for bringing their case forward when milestones are achieved earlier than expected. We don't want prisoners who are fit for parole to actually be denied that opportunity to seek parole when releasing them would be better for both the prisoner and their rehabilitation and social integration, and also better for the criminal justice system and the community. Like I say, better for the justice system in that 800 fewer parole board hearings are likely to be heard because of this bill. So, Mr. Speaker, we must work to support and protect the victims of crime. That goes without saying. They should be in the forefront of our thinking. Victims, as I've said, can feel this unnecessary stress from having to prepare for the pending parole board hearings. Labour's vision is for a New Zealand that guarantees civil and human rights and provides equal and full access to justice and achieves real public safety, rather than just delivering immediate punitive measures. Mr. Speaker, so it gives us pleasure to support this bill, understanding and hearing and understanding the reasons why the Green Party don't support it. I respect their views, but we in the Labour Party, Mr. Speaker, believe this is a good bill that is going to help victims, it's going to help offenders address their offending, and it's going to be better for all of New Zealand. Kia ora.
Speaker.
I call Joanne Hayes.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker.